I have just a couple of very, very basic points to make. And we've heard a tremendous amount of information, all awesome, super, super sharp. So the question I was asked to address is, how does IAQ fit into my brand strategy? And to me, this is really simple. Ben, if you'll go forward, please. Thank you. The overarching lesson is this: people don't buy products, they buy how products make them feel. And one of the reasons that historically we have, as an industry, kind of had a hard time cracking this Gordian knot, unless we had some kind of drastic environmental situation going on around us, case in point, is that we have typically approached the sales and the branding process from our point of view, not from the output point of view. And as a result of that, we find ourselves immensely bogged down in information that is fantastic and it's credible and scientifically proven. But for a person who has never experienced this product, it remains extremely obtuse. If you're a salesperson on this call, if you're a business owner on this call, I think this is one of the most important lessons that anybody who is in this profession can take away from this. What matters is how our products make people feel, not necessarily the products themselves. The products themselves are perfect. They're well designed. They're well engineered. But how do you translate the output? How do you translate the emotional output? People buy what you bring their attention to. Starting point right there. People are much more inclined to pay attention to and have a nascent interest that becomes a burgeoning interest, that becomes a full-blown interest in something like filtration, if you constantly direct their attention to it. The Air You Breathe hashtag is a perfect example of that because of its massive scalability. And if you want people to get interested in filters, you have to bake that into every touch point in the sales cycle, in the lead generation cycle, in the post-sale, the post-transaction cycle. People buy what you bring their attention to. It is the reason that as we approach Father's Day, Home Depot is going to have drills and saws and all sorts of cool stuff on the end cap of every single aisle of their store. And on Mother's Day, the grocery stores have flowers and sweets and balloons and all sorts of other beautiful things in plain view. If you want someone to be interested in something, you simply have to put it in front of them enough times. We're not that hard to persuade. And a catchy hashtag doesn't hurt either. So one, they have to see it. Second, they have to identify with it, right? Additionally, causality makes a huge impact on whether or not a person has an interest or not. And causality is your ability to communicate what life is like before and after living with something that they have never lived with before. Anybody who's ever made a purchasing decision because they're looking for a better quality of life based on where they currently stand knows what that feels like. It's easy to bring people to filters for a sense of egoism, right? If you communicate to them that these are smart decisions, that these are responsible, that these are prudent, that these are caring decisions, you have to attach a sense of aspiration, right? Personal ego and aspiration to products. It's also important, and it's a great selling tactic, to make the normal seem extremely mundane or behind the times. If you contrast two heating cooling systems, one with a filter, one without, and the filter that is viewed as without the filter is seen as yesterday's news, then you have a much greater likelihood of saying, this is the next better version of what we can do. And once again, I think the hashtag is super appropriate. You know, in all, a product like a filter is an aspirational product, and it's not a necessity. It's an aspirational product. And as such, you have to position it in that manner. You have to get it before them, communicate causality, make them feel good about themselves, make a system without a filter seem like an outdated notion, and a system with a filter to seem like the next best thing. And it's definitely systemic, and it definitely weaves in and out of the entire branding process.